perpetual imprisonment. Am I not then to be set free? Light your fire! Do you think I dread it as much as the life of a rat in a hole? My voices were right. Yes, they told me you were fools, and that I was not to listen to your fine words nor trust to your charity. You promised me my life, but you lied. You think that life is nothing but not being stone dead. It is not the bread and water I fear. I can live on bread. When have I asked for more? It is no hardship to drink water if the water be clean. Bread has no sorrow for me, and water no affliction. But to shut me from the light of the sky and the sight of the fields and flowers, to chain my feet so that I can no longer ride with the soldiers nor climb the hills, to make me breathe foul, damp darkness, and keep me from everything that brings me back to the love of God, when your wickedness and your foolishness tempt me to hate him. All this is worse than the furnace in the Bible that was heated 7 times. I could do without my war horse. I could drag about in a skirt. I could let the knights and soldiers and trumpets and banners pass me and leave me behind as they leave the other women. If only I could still hear the wind in the trees, the larks in the sunshine, the young lambs crying through the healthy frost, and the blessed, blessed church bells that send my angel voices floating to me on the wind. Without these things, I cannot live. And by your wanting to take them away from me, or from any human creature, I know that your counsel is of the devil and that mine is of God. Thanks.
Very nice, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, wonderful. Very nice, Anne, very nice. Let's do a little bit of work. Let's see what happens. Where are we?
We are in the court, so I am surrounded by people who have condemned me to life in prison.
Right, and what kind of state is she in?
She is in a very, well, she sort of changed her mind. Initially, she was going to go along with this plan, but she's realized the reality of having to.
I don't mean plot-wise. I mean, what sort of state is she in right now, physically? Has she been beaten up?
She has been tortured.
Is she tied up?
She was tied up, I believe, right prior to this.
So she's been released, and she's facing who?
She's facing the council of people who are giving her this.
How scared is she?
I think she's very scared, but she's trying to overcome that fear.
Right. So what will happen to her? What's going to happen to her?
She'll be in prison for the entirety of her life. We'll never see the world again.
Right. Shaw gives you this fantastic duality in the speech of talking about elements of a physical, worldly life, and then the expectation of something more spiritual, something more, when she says about won't be able to hear the voices of the angels, that music. So there's two realities, in a sense, that she's calling for. And I think what might be useful is to find the difference between those two realities in terms of how she expresses that. So we don't have a very good, but a slightly generalized tone. And remember what Stanislavski said about generalization, do we know? Generalization is the enemy to art. And we're all artists. Doesn't matter if you're playing St. Joan, or if you're playing the girl behind the counter at the dental office and says, are you here for your 10:30? Doesn't matter. Yeah? And so I think there's a specificity as well in Shaw. He doesn't play around arbitrarily with alliteration or with, that wonderful little moment when he talks about dank, damp, darkness. That he gives you a line of very strong images. And they can't be rushed. There has to be a sense of pace and a sense of urgency, certainly. I mean, given the situation she's in, there is a sense of Her time is limited.
Yes.
The time she has to express herself is limited. And like all great writing, and like all great characters, what propels her isn't the fact that the author happens to have given you a great speech at this point in the play. What is clear is that the character has a need, a very, very strong need to speak. Yeah?
To express that she is right.
And so there has to be, I think there has to be more of a focus.
Yeah.
So I want you to repeat a little bit
Sure.
of it with just a little exercise,
Okay.
which I call the royal torture. I want you to sit down, sit on your hands, and wrap your feet. No, sit on your hands. Those are the things up here. And wrap your feet around the chair legs. So you're pretty much immobilized. All right? Now you have to reach us with just your voice and just those words. Start again.
Perpetual imprisonment.
What?
Perpetual imprisonment.
Right, you see, Shaw starts straight away right from the top. Shaw gives you this alliterative clause. And they're two long polysyllabic words. And what does that mean in terms of character? What it means is the character has considered what he or she wants to say. It's not, oh my God! You know, let me go! I'm stuck! It's not that kind of, it's perpetual imprisonment. So it's both descriptive and, in a sense, her coming to terms with something. Just think about what that means. Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
And what's the next thing she says?
Am I not then to be set free?
Right. Now you see what Shaw does something very interesting here. He gives you this fantastic clause, all polysyllabic. The next clause is all monosyllables. Now, dramatically, theatrically, in terms of your energy, that has an implication, doesn't it?
Yeah. She's trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
Figure out what to say.
That's right.
Yeah.
But there's a rhythm, there's a shift of rhythm. So let's explore that a little bit.
Perpetual imprisonment? Am I not then to be set free? Light your fire. Do you think I dread it as much as the life of a rat in a hole? My voices were right. Yes.
My what were right?
My voices were right.
That's it.
Yes. They told me you were fools, and that I was not to listen to your fine words, nor trust to your charity. You promised me my life, but you lied. You think that life is nothing but not being stone dead.
Hit the back wall, hit the back wall.
Sorry.
Hit the back wall.
You think that life is nothing but not being stone dead. It is not the bread and water I fear. I can live on bread. When have I asked for more? It is no hardship to drink water if the water be clean. Bread has no sorrow for me, and water no affliction.
Okay, good. Now that's already having a change in you.
Yeah.
That's already. It's already affecting a change in you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you feel the difference?
Yes. The sense of having to really overcome something.
Yeah.
In a very physical way.
And you see, this little trick, this thing is a very, you can stop standing still. Although I didn't leave you there. This very simple thing, all it does is let me explain something. And this is something, that's by the way, you can go and listen to that. Thank you. Very nice adjustment, Anne. Very, very good. Now let's just say, for argument's sake, let's say, for argument's sake, this, standing like this, is neutral. Can we agree on that? Sure. That's neutral. So any shift from that is what? A change. If this is your neutral, if you're the sort of person that does that, maybe puts their weight on one hip or the other, or maybe you're the sort of person that just like pushes the pelvis might go forward a little bit, or maybe you're the sort of person that the head goes, you know, we all have something that shifts away from neutral. We all have a default setting. Yes? Mine is this. And I see myself doing that in movies, and I think, oh, for crying out loud. And what we do is, as actors, what we do is we go to our default setting when we're not 100% sure of what we're doing. We go to the point of most comfort. We go to where we're comfortable. You know, some people, I do this, some people do this, some people kind of do that. You know, whatever it is you do, we all have it. But the thing is, there are huge implications with this, because as soon as you shift, you're not just going away from neutral. What you're doing is you're going into character. It becomes a character choice, whether you like it or not. So you have to be very careful what you choose. It can't be arbitrary. So for instance, when Anne had a moment when she went through it the first time where there was this kind of rather generalized, rather sort of unnecessary gesture. Maybe that's something you do when you kind of want to feel emphatic or something. But as soon as you start, and this exercise forces you to get to some kind of neutral place where all you've got to concentrate on is what's coming out of here. What's coming out of, I would argue, what's coming out of the character rather than coming out of the actor. So you're serving the text rather than dragging the text to some place of where you feel comfortable, where so St. Joan, or whoever it is you're playing, just becomes a cozier version of you. Yeah? The trick is to take ourselves away. You know, you start here. Now you might make the choice. You might suddenly start, my St. Joan does this. Okay, well then prove it. Yeah? You see what I'm saying?